Today on the Cooking with the Adventurous Joe, we're going to be making homemade meatloaf. Welcome aboard, and bon appetit time, baby, because it's time to get cooking. With more cooking adventures with yours truly, the Adventurous Joe. And on this episode, you're going to need to do this homemade meatloaf. You're going to need a good sized bowl to mince the burger in and stuff, because you got to mix everything together. You're going to need some diced onions, which we got in here, 1 egg, a cup of oatmeal for substance, because that's going to help the meatloaf stay together and stuff. And you're going to need 2 pounds of ground beef. So, you're also going to need the ketchup to mix in with it as well and stuff. But people like to do it their own ways as well. There are many cooking ideas out there on how to do a homemade meatloaf, but I'm going to show you how my family makes it. So get ready and enjoy. Now we've minced in our onions, our diced onions, and added the ketchup and the egg along with the 1 cup of oatmeal. Now we're going to put it together so we can start making it in the oven as a beautiful meatloaf. Now normally you would use a loafing pan, okay? But since we're making a good sized meatloaf and stuff, we want it to fit into this glass one and stuff. Now this will work perfectly still and everything, and we'll make the meatloaf either way you look at it and stuff. You could use loafing pans if you want to make more than one into, out of the big one out of the 2 pounds of burger you got and stuff. Or you could put it in this and make a good sized meatloaf. Either way, let's get started. Now, one other thing I forgot to mention is don't forget to add your salt, pepper, and garlic powder to it as well. So before you start putting it all together, because you want to mince it all into the meat itself and everything, so it gives it that nice, juicy, somewhat spicy kick to it. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is 2 pounds of ground beef with all the ingredients mixed in and stuff. And don't worry, I'm going to write everything down in the description below and stuff, just in case you want to do this recipe yourself, so you know what to use and how much to use. That way you got it all nice and set. Now the one thing we're not doing just yet, my family likes to take sliced cheese and put it on top of so it melts in to the meatloaf and stuff. Melts right on top of it. We're going to be doing that shortly before this is all done cooking and stuff. And we're going to be adding an extra ingredient touch to it once it is all done. Stay tuned, and let's get this sucker in the oven. Now that we got our counter space all cleaned up, it's time to get to work on the cheese. Now you can see here we got some block cheese that comes about like this and stuff. Bongards, Bongards, whatever. Either way, this is some really good block cheese to use and stuff. We're going to take that cheese and we're going to slice singles off of it and stuff that we're going to put over the meatloaf once it's done, or close to done, because we want it to melt into the meatloaf while it's still cooking. And then once that's done, we'll add the final ingredient, which is the brown gravy. Delicious as can be, especially once you pour it over the top of it, over the top of the meatloaf. Stay tuned. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Look at those singles, all nice and sliced and ready. Now, before we need to put these on the meatloaf while, halfway cooked and done cooking and stuff like that, we're going to put these in the fridge so they stay nice and solid. We don't want them to melt down too quickly and stuff, because it's like it's like close to 87 degrees here now. So, and working in the kitchen doing a meatloaf is not exactly a simple task to do. And as you can see, the block cheese sliced down perfect on that side and everything. And one thing you want to do when doing the slicing, make sure the blade is hot enough, take it and run it under boiling hot water and stuff. Don't put it in the boiling hot water. Just run it under the sink as it's running boiling hot water and stuff. Then wring it out good and bring it over to the block of cheese. If it doesn't slice right the first time, slice it again and slice through the same spot again, so you make sure you got the single slice cut perfectly. Alright, now we wait for the meatloaf to get going so we can put these singles on top. Ooh, baby, look at that. Okay, we don't want to get too close because it'll start steaming up here. Look at that. The meatloaf is starting to come together perfectly. Now, we're going to give it a little bit more time, because you can see right there, it's already at the 10-minute mark and stuff. We're going to give it a little more time, and then we're going to add the cheese to it. Look at that meatloaf. Ooh, baby. Now we just added our singles onto the top. We're going to put it in the oven for a few more minutes. Probably about 5 or 10 more minutes. Let it soak right in. Then we'll do the last ingredient once we pull it out of the oven. Stay tuned. Ooh, look at that meatloaf. Look at how it's still got the juiciness on the side there and stuff. It's still nice and bubbling and everything because it just came fresh out of the oven. Ooh, baby. Now we're going to let this sit for a little bit and stuff so it can get a little, make sure it's all nice and solid before we remove it from here to put it on the cutting board. And from here on out, we're going to need this and this. Stay tuned. Oh, and look at that. Woo, woo, woo. Now, you may be going, Adventurous Joe, you said there was supposed to be another added ingredient to this meatloaf. Oh, there is. We're going to be, once we get the meatloaf sliced and put it on a plate and stuff, we're going to be adding on the brown gravy, which gives it a nice, beautiful flavoring that gives you more juiciness to it as well. Because all that grease you saw in the pan next to the meatloaf and stuff before we pulled it out, that's the added textures and stuff, greasiness that you don't want in your meatloaf. So once we get this sliced and put on a plate, we're going to be taking the brown gravy and overlapping it. So stay tuned for that. Now, as you can see, the meatloaf is on the plate and stuff. Now, my slices fell apart as I was trying to transfer it over and stuff, but I managed to get one to stay intact. Look at that. Look at how that sliced off beautifully. The meat is perfect, tender. You want it to be nice and well thought out. And look at how beautiful it looks. Now, we're going to add the brown gravy to it on top and go from there. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Homemade meatloaf. And there's the added ingredient, the brown gravy on top. Oh, look at that. It looks so freaking delicious. I can't wait to dig in. I mean, I literally cannot wait to dig into this. So, what do you think, Adventurous Ones? Would you like to try this recipe? If so, I put the ingredient, everything you need to know, down in the comment section or down in the description below. And you can make this any way you want. There are people out there that have made meatloaf different ways, different know-hows and everything else in between, including professional cooks like Guy Fieri and stuff. You want to follow that kind of a recipe or do it like how I did, my family does it? It's easy. It's an easy thing to do, simple to make, and a great dinner as well. And you can always get some, if you don't want just the meatloaf like this and stuff, you can always add in, give yourself a salad on the side, or give yourself some vegetables or something in between it and stuff. Either way, it's a great dinner for a great thing to do, especially when you got a family. So, until the next one, my Adventurous Ones, peace out. May the force be with all of you. Nevertheless, one of y'all have a safe, lovely, and beautiful week out there. Take care of yourselves, your family, your friends, your pets, loved ones in general. Be smart. Get home safely to them all. Till the next one, my adventurous ones. I will see you all later, and bon appetit.